Hello, today I will be explaining the four main kinematics equations in AP Physics. This video will be mainly focused on the first one because I am making it for one of my friends who needs help on specifically the first one, but I'll be making more videos explaining the rest more comprehensively. So, when there are going to be five variables that you need to know. Velocity final, that's the final velocity. The initial velocity, which is this right here. This actually means v naught, but it's just the initial velocity. Acceleration and time. These are the four main equations. You can pause the video and write this down if you want. But yeah, I've had it here. I'm going to start with the first problem right now. Just make this super small in the corner. Here is the first problem. A Chevrolet Corvette starts with a velocity of 13.3 meters per second and accelerates to a velocity of 16.1 meters per second. The acceleration is 0.05 meters per second squared. Find the time it takes. The first step you do is write down all the variables, okay? So initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration, time, and distance. In this equation, in this problem, you see it says it starts. That's a key word, starts. So it means the initial velocity will be 13.3. And then it accelerates, which means it will go faster. The speed, velocity is basically speed with direction. Without a direction, it's just speed, okay? So that's the way you can think about it. So it's getting faster and faster. That's what the acceleration is. So it gets faster, and now it's 16.1 meters per second. And it tells you the acceleration. It tells you how fast it's going and how much faster it's getting per second, and which is 0.05. Okay, so now we have these three variables. We can find the time, and the reason is just in general, if you have three variables, you can always find the other two with these four equations. The first equation that we're going to be focusing on is the main one. The main equation we'll be focusing on is the first one, which is velocity final is equal to velocity initial plus acceleration times time. If you're in AP Physics, you probably don't have to remember this for the AP exam because you'll have these equations, but it's important to know how to actually use them to find the answer. The main thing in physics is not knowing the math, is not knowing the equations, but is knowing what to do with these equations, is using your logic to find the answer. And that's what the hardest part about physics is. So when you solve equations, don't plug in 16.1 is equal to 13.3 plus 0.05 times t. And then you're going to have to subtract it and type in your calculator and do so much extra things. And when you do it like that, you don't actually build a pattern in your brain. When you use only these symbols to solve it, you will build a pattern in your brain. So look, you want to find the time right here, right? So what we can do is we can subtract the initial velocity from both sides. So minus VO. And then it's going to be velocity final minus velocity initial is equal to acceleration times time. And since we have the acceleration, we can just divide both sides by acceleration, and boom, you have the time. If these numbers change, you'll be able to find the answer the same way. And sometimes to save time, you won't even have to think because you already know how to do it. This simple two things, and boom, all you have to do is solve it, and you'll find the answer. And that was the wrong answer that they put in. And yeah, once you reach this point, then you can put all the numbers in your calculator, which I will do right now. Calculator. I'm just gonna type all the numbers in. 16.1 minus, why is there 0 time? I'll clear all that. 6, what the heck? Parentheses. Okay. this is, I'm sorry, 16.1 minus 13.3. Enter. And then you just divide that by 0.05, and then you get 56 seconds. And remember the units. The units will always be seconds. The base unit is going to be seconds, and then there's going to be meters. So I'll make a video on the base units, but just remember the base units right now are meters, seconds, like it even says meters per second, and then that's it, meters and seconds. Okay, here's it. MKS stands for meters, kilograms, kilograms and seconds. And I have an acronym for this, but you won't even know it because it's just a school acronym. That's how I know this. So I'll have to think of something later. But oh, MKS. Okay, I thought of it. MKS. Make kinematic simple. Oh my gosh, I'm so smart. Okay, make kinematic simple, and that's meters, and that's kilograms, and that's seconds. Okay, remember, make kinematic simple. MKS, and then yeah, I'll just write this down so you can meters, kilograms, seconds. So you can take a screenshot, take notes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So here is how you would solve the first problem. Here is another keyword, starting from rest. When it says starts from rest, you already know the initial velocity is 0. And then the speed of 8 meters per second, when it reaches 8 meters per second, so final velocity has to be 8. And it goes down the slope for 5 seconds. Boom. You already have 3. Okay. First equation. Velocity final is equal to velocity initial plus acceleration times time. We want to find, what do we want to find? We want to find what is the magnitude of the average acceleration. What is acceleration? So we do the exact same thing that we just did. Subtract initial velocity from both sides. And then you can divide this one by the time this time to find the acceleration. But because here's a more simpler way. Now that you know this, since you know it's 0, you can automatically just cross it out. It's 0. Ignore it. If it's you'll see why in a bit later. Okay. So then you'll get velocity final divided by time is equal to acceleration. Boom! You already found the acceleration. I should have to find it because you need it for the next part. This is a 2-part problem. Clear this. It's 8 divided by 5. What? Okay, I don't know. Okay, 1.6. I should not have. I was not thinking when I did that. Okay, I'm sorry. It was just 1.6. I am not mathing right now. I'm sorry. Physics is more fun than math for me. I just like to use the logic. It's like a game for me, kind of. Sorry, that's nerdy. Here's the second one. Distance is equal to velocity initial times time plus 1/2 acceleration times time squared. And you know velocity initial is 0. Boom, cross it out. How far does the skier travel? You already have, so you already have acceleration. You already have time. Just plug it in the calculator. Just plug it in 0.5 plus times 1.6 times